Ken Hover, and I am the co-lead of Project 4, which is the material science team. The material science project is trying to determine the initial state of the concrete and steel in the structure, which means working it backwards from evidence which is 40 plus years old. In many cases of investigating a structural failure, there is a well-known or defined trigger. That was not at all the case in this particular structure. One of the things that became my job was to see if I could recreate a concrete mix that I thought would match as closely as possible to what we had in the original structure. Cement has a chemical identity, and that chemical identity is going to impact the susceptibility of any given concrete to environmental factors. Replicating the concrete is absolutely critical. We then realized that the kind of Portland cement powder that would have been available in the late 1970s was essentially no longer available. So that the kind of cement that would have been used then was very, very hard to find. We found a place in South Florida that was still making the classic cement. So now then we had the nearest approximation. When the cement and the water react, it generates a series of chemical products which stick to each other, not unlike the way Velcro sticks together. Is very strong in what we call compression. But the weak link of Velcro is tension. And the same thing is true with concrete. We need to put another material in the concrete which is very good at taking tension, and that is what the reinforcing steel is for. The concrete and the steel have to be well adhered to each other so that they can share those forces back and forth. Now here's where the corrosion comes into play. When water and salt and oxygen penetrate down to the level of the steel, they will start corroding the steel in exactly the same manner that seawater or de-icing salt will rust our cars. As the rust grows and grows and grows, it can actually break the bond between the steel and the concrete. I think one of the aha moments is when we were starting to see behaviors from our large-scale tests in Seattle and Minneapolis that then were giving us very similar fracture surfaces, very similar outcomes to what we observed in the actual evidence. It is complex just because of the magnitude and the scope of the project and the significance of the human tragedy. This is not just concrete, this is not just steel, this is not just building codes. These are real people who had every reason to believe that this was going to be a night like any other night, and it wasn't.